Morning. I'm just doing a check-in to let you know I'm still alive. I've been up for a little while. I've just put my offerings out to the birds and I'm having my coffee, but I'm sitting here just, oh my God, taking everything in. There's so much to take in, so much to take in, but I just wanted to give you an update. I've been networking and putting myself out there in a way that I wouldn't usually before because I'm quite shy, which is really bad for someone who's looking for investors and that. But I'm not comfortable talking to people I don't know, and I've been having to put myself out there. And I'm doing a lot of work behind the scenes. I've written my first kind of tune for Dork the musical, which I'm really proud of. And it came to me while I was watching my son play Cyberpunk, the video game. Bloody hell, what a game that is. It's like watching my sons play video games, it just like it expands my mind. And because video games is going to be, my future and stuff, watching him play Cyberpunk has just been an incredible learning experience for me. And all I keep thinking is, and I was discussing it with him yesterday, about whether I want to commit to making a AAA game that takes quite a few years to make. That took 12 years because of all the glitches, like Grand Theft Auto took how long? It takes how long to make a Grand Theft Auto? So I know that it wouldn't be an overnight game, but the thing is, I was thinking about it all last night. I was up till nearly midnight trying to work out how I would present this idea to my team at Kiwi2 Games, because I've been sitting on an idea for a video game that my sons themselves said would be an Ort's wet dream. I've been sitting on an idea that once my server was up and running and all the other games were all up there to play, I came up with an idea that has never ever been done before, that would take quite a few years to put into place, but once it would completely transform the way people played video games. And not even connected to my gaming chair, just with my server. My son said, what you're saying, he said it's genius, Mum. And he said people with autism and that, like it would be like the gaming obsession. So I'm just having a sip of my coffee. But I said to him last night, the only way we could get this made in a shorter amount of time is if I had hundreds and hundreds of artists and programmers working on it together, as opposed to, like, say, a company like Rockstar, just hypothetically speaking, that had 300 people in Scotland. I'd probably need hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, and maybe outsource the art and programming and that, if my games company wasn't big enough to handle it. I mean, it could be done, especially if I had the right investment. But I'm telling you now, if my sons are like, Mum, you've got to do it, you have to absolutely do it. And then they helped me perfect, because it's basically like you would unlock this challenge, you would unlock a challenge that gave you access to this, like in in South Park with the World of Warcraft, remember, with the magic key? Because that's originally what I was thinking about when I came up with the idea, but it just kind of blew up into this monumental thing. And I went to the boys and I said, could it be possible? And my son said, hell yes, it could be possible. He said, but it would take a while, and unless like you had a lot of people helping you. He said, but he said, if you do it, he said it's completely genius. He said, like, I'm paraphrasing, but he said it's genius. And he said, if you did it, you know, we'd have to do this, and this, and this, and blah, 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 sort of thing. He said, but it would be, you know, like a high funks or an autistic person's, like, dream. So I was thinking about it all last night, thinking about my presentation, like how I'd sit down, because in my meeting room at QE2 Games, I'm going to have a whiteboard and some kind of way of hooking up my laptop to the white screen and that, so I could say I kind of want it done like this, and then bring it up on the computer to show everyone on on the screen, because you know, like I'm the visionary. I'm the visionary. I'm the one who sees the vision, and I need the team to drive that vision home. So, you know, like, I know what I know about video games companies and all of that because I was a wife of a guy who worked in the video games industry. He also owned his own company, Red Radiant Media, and I helped him with PR, and I helped, you know, put stuff out there in terms of using AI and all of that sort of thing, like back when my boys were like little babies, before Gabriel could even walk. So, you know, like I, I know how it works. I know what to do and what not to do. But, you know, I'm going to need an art director, and I'm going to need managers, and I'm going to need HR departments and all of that, and artists and programmers and coders. And I already know how I'm going to deal with the Q&A, which is just brilliant in itself, if I do say so myself. But it's going to... it's exciting, that's all I'm going to say, because I'm a visionary, and a visionary is somebody who sees a way of doing something or comes up with an idea to do something that's like revolutionary and inspired and never been done before, or is a cut above the rest of the competition, who puts it out there and makes it happen. And I need to make it happen by putting the right people in place. And I was up until nearly midnight. Usually I'm passed out drooling by about 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. But I was up until like midnight just going over how I could present it to my staff at QE2 Games once I get it set up. Because obviously, as you know, as soon as I get to America, the first thing I have to do is IT industry games company, set up my amphitheatre, build my hotel, get my staff busy on the app. But we could look at making this thing, because it is going to take a few years to make, especially how I want to do it. And I really think that my sons, especially my youngest, would be brilliant at helping guide this project, because he knows what I'm talking about when I talk about it. And yeah, so then also I'm sitting here thinking I could start my school of alchemy now, but the only reason why I'm not, and you know, design my get all I need is because you can pay to get your cards made online, and buy them in bulk and stuff, and I'd only be selling my folk deck to my students, but I just need like a artist to help me design the cards the way I want them to look, because I've had to totally change the way I want the cards to look. Now that I've become a biorhythmic engineer and ascension scientist, I need to change the original designs of the tarot cards and that, which will be used to be read at the brew house, you know, when I set up my cafe at the foundation. But I was thinking, you know, I could register as a business and do these classes online, but it means that I'd have to get broadband. It means I'd have to get a laptop. I'd need an office. I'd need space. I would need someone to help me with like doing engineering and sound and editing and all of that. And I'd have to register as a business here in the UK, and it means that when I move to America, once I set up the house, the school, and as the haunted house and the school and that at the foundation, I'd have to pay tax here as well. And I don't want to, as soon as I get justice and I get my money, I want to do my circuit of the UK to say goodbye, and then I want to get out of here. I need to spread my wings. I would have been happy to stay here if it was to help the government in any way, but now that everything's like, I, it's not, I can't do any more here. I did what I said I was going to do, which was get rid of Starmer. I can't do anything about the king. He's a grown man. He didn't listen. Whatever happens now, it's on him. It's time for me to go. And I want to spread my wings. I want to be able to, like I was saying to my sister, I want to take you down to when I do auditions and do specific job interviews and all of that sort of thing going across America. I'll take you to Florida and North Carolina and show you where Blackbeard and all of that hung out. And, like I want to then, take her to California and take her to the Winchester Mansion and talk about, on my channel, on my the Mystery Inside History channel, about the truth about who Sarah Winchester really was and why she built the house the way she did, and the whole Freemason connection and all of that sort of thing, and why she built her attic to be dome shaped and all of that sort of thing. And I can't do any of that here. Like I've got a whole list of places that I'm putting a travel plan for, with my sister when I give her and my nephews a tour of the UK before we leave. But there's only so much you can do on an island. And going to America, I can go to, Central and South America. I can go to Canada and Alaska and all that as well. And I just want to be able to know that I can get in a car and drive for a couple of days straight and still not reach my destination. I need that kind of freedom. Hang on, sip. So, as a visionary, I'm seeing everything coming into view. I'm seeing it's like a tsunami's come through and is just washing everything that's in my path away. And I'm seeing it. It's like the Red Sea is parting, and I'm watching it part, and I'm walking through. But instead of the Red Sea, it's the Atlantic. Like I can see it. I can see it all so clearly now. I know exactly what to do and how to do it. And then the incredible thing is, just by complete accident, I was poking fun at Donald Trump about a video I was watching. And in that video, it was talking about the tax breaks that you get, like land tax and charity taxes and all of that sort of thing that you get when you have cemeteries and graveyards on private land, which I'm going to have. Because, with the George Callaghan Veterans Trust, I'm going to offer free burials in that to veterans who can't afford funerals or, who have no one to give them send-offs. We will take them and we'll bury them, and then, whether they're signed up to our palliative care house, our hospice, or whether they just put their name and all their military information and that on our website, to let them know that, to let us know that this is where they want to go, this is where they want to be when they die, because like either they know they don't want to give their family the expensive, like an expensive burial, or they know that they're not going to be able to afford to be buried or anything like that. They can register even through like what do you call it? the VA, is it? The Veterans Association. We can register with them and they can let us know when a veteran has died and we can go and collect them and we can bury them. And if they want to be cremated, we can cremate them and put their ashes in our rose garden. And, you know, like we'll plant a rose, put the ashes, plant a rose, and then put like a little plaque to say this rose was grown by Sergeant Major Blada. Well, do they have Sergeant Majors in America? Corporal blah blah of the blah, you know, of Korea, whatever. And if they want their dog tags put over the, you know, we could incorporate their dog tags. If they didn't want to be buried with their dog tags, we could incorporate it into the plaque and everything. But the thing is, because I'm going to have like a woodworking department, we'll be able to make their caskets, or their coffins rather. We'll be able to make their coffins. We'll be able to make their plaques. And we can, you know, just beautiful and respectful, and they can even like leave instructions on if they want certain music played or certain hymns. And because the thing is, because I'm an ordained minister in America, I'm ordained in all 50 states, I can perform weddings and I can perform funerals and last rites on people. So I could bury them myself and I'd give them incredible send-offs. I'd do research into who they were and we would honour them, and then they would be there in all our movies where we needed, they'd have to be okay with that. Obviously, if they signed up, it would be with the stipulation that, hey, your headstone is going to end up probably in a Halloween movie, in a horror movie, but definitely Halloween. But if you want your headstone covered up, we can cover it up and give you a fake one if you don't want your name there. That's fine, but you will be there. But in exchange, you'll get to be a dead actor who gets buried for free and honoured and remembered for free. You know, people love to walk around cemeteries anyway, and the dead, it's really important for the dead to be remembered. And if you serve in the military, it's even more important that you're remembered. So it's a great way to keep their memories alive. They will never ever be forgotten. And then because my School of Alchemy would be right next door, which I want to have look like the Munster House, and I was actually a while ago looking at houses for sale where they were about to be torn down, and you know, where they were run down, and I was looking at how much it would cost to move them to when I thought was going to be South Dakota. You know, to tear the house down, like, you know, say to the people who own the land, because it's going to cost them money to get the house torn down. So say to them, if we tear it down for you, will you let us keep the materials? And I was looking at some really beautiful, like, old farmhouses and stuff like that that were run down and abandoned, and that the bank had just left. So it's like, okay, like if we pay to tear it down for you, you're going to save tens of thousands of dollars, but just let us keep the wood and, you know, the windows and all of that sort of thing. Get my construction crew in. The other thing as well is it's creating jobs for the guys in my Beyond Life program who, when they get out of prison, once they've ticked all the boxes of the agreement, you know, they get to make extra money as well as working on the comic book, but then they can make money like helping tear the houses down, and you know what I mean. So it's spreading the wealth, and it's sharing the vision, and then they can rebuild it as my Munster style haunted house next to the graveyard, or cemetery rather. because it's a cemetery if there's no church attached, and it's a graveyard if there's a church attached. And then my students could train, because I'll have all the information on file for my veterans. I take my students out to train with the veterans in the graveyard. So, not being mediums or anything like that. If you're going to talk to the dead in my class, you're going to do it the right way. And it's not going to be by calling yourself a medium or a clairvoyant. A clairvoyant technically doesn't talk to the dead. Technically, from a scientific perspective, a clairvoyant sees things that are beyond the veil. They don't technically talk to the dead. That's not technically what the function of a clairvoyant is. But, I'll use the school, and then when we need to hand it over for Halloween, we'll shut everything down. I want to have my occult museum in the school so that people can come and, tourists and that can come when they're milling about the foundation and look at all our occult museum-y things. Because when I go around America and Europe and the UK and that, I want to be able to collect things. I want to invite people to send what they think are their cursed items to put in the museum. I want to go to oddity and antiquity stores and that, which I know they have a ton of on the east coast of America, because I used to watch them all on YouTube, and go around collecting things for my occult museum, and also my circus fair burger house, because for my freak show museum there in the burger house. So I just visionary. I know what to do now, and it's almost like in learning about this thing about the tax breaks with cemeteries and all of that. Because you don't pay land tax, you don't pay. There's. Watch the video. I'll put a link in the description box, but watch the video and they explain it all there about, because it was to do with Trump burying Ivana in his golf course, and they were explaining about why he did it, and I was like, oh my God, this is brilliant. And it's like, I'm telling you now, ever since I followed all the signs in that back to New York, it's like I said, the Red Sea is parting. I looked up to that North Star, and it's pointed exactly, and it's not only, it's like my dreams are pinpointing, okay, this is how you need to start, this is what you need to do, this is the order with which it needs to go. Even if I have like billions in investment, there's an order with which everything has to be built. And it's like the feedback that I'm getting from people, even standing at my own front door, and then I got to say, I think my son knew that by me watching Cyberpunk, it was going to reignite something in me that was going to blow my mind, because he keeps saying to me, so what do you think? What did you think about that playthrough? And what did you think about this one? And we have these discussions about, and because what I love about it as well is the guns that they use in it aren't like known guns, they're made up guns. And I have a real problem with in video games where I like to be able to do things that are new and different. And I have had this discussion with my boys over and over again about when it comes to doing beasts and like end of level boss fights and all of that. I want to try and be as unique and different as I possibly can, but all the beasts and aliens and bad guys and that, we're gonna be really hard pressed to come up with anything that's never been done before, unfortunately. But in and watching him have this boss fight yesterday with one of the end of, with one of the bosses in the game, it made me rethink the ending to the Quantum Menace to the Battle of Two Worlds, because I thought, what I've come up with might be a little bit formulaic. Like everyone seems to like, in all the games that I've watched them play, there's at least one of these type of arachnid, crustacean type things in a boss fight. So I'm thinking maybe I need to rethink the end of level for the Quantum Menace 2, the Battle of Two Worlds, which is the video game I was talking to my delivery driver about, where his eyes lit up. I said, I think you might like the Quantum Menace. I said, that's our version of Marvel and DC Comics, superheroes. And our superheroes are really unique. Our superheroes are awesome. I'm really proud. I've spent a lot of time coming up with my superheroes to make sure that they weren't, if they were sort of similar to other things, they weren't identical, they stood out. Like Bodhi Gale, who rides the wind, who's kind of like the Silver Surfer but not. They were originally inspired on all my students and that I thought were coming on board with me. So then I tweaked them, obviously had to tweak them to get their energy off everything I'd created. And then in realising that they were actually based on other people who at the time I hadn't met yet. Hang on, sip. I wrote my first tune for Dork the Musical, which I'm really, really proud of. I was watching my son play and I said he had to go and have his dinner, and I said, I'll be back in a minute. And I quickly went and put the tune down and then uploaded that. The world is a stage, or I'm going to change it to the world is my stage. And I could see the character who plays the main character, after he's landed on his plane and the school bus comes to pick him up from the airport to take him and the other kids and that. And as he's sort of driving into the grounds of the school, and he can see kids rehearsing, and he can see people on the stage like practicing and rehearsing and messing with lights and sounds, and he can see the choreographer with the dancers out in the sunshine, like doing their thing and that. And he's like, oh my God, this is my world. This is going to be my world now. I've got goosebumps. This is my world. Fire is my world now, and the world is my stage. Fire gets to be my stage, and that's what the song's about. And I could see it so clearly in my head. And that's the beauty of being a visionary. I want to, aside from making the app, which I don't actually think will take that long to make, I was told about 6 to 8 months, because most of the work is already done. It just basically needs to be programmed in. But the true beauty of the app won't come to life until everything else I've created is put in place. So while that needs to be made pretty quickly, it's not urgent. So in the meantime, we're going to make the mini games to put on the server. Remember, I said to you I wanted to come up with 15 mini games. I've come up with about 10 so far, which I was going to work on today. Mini games to give people a taste of what we're capable of in terms of QE2 games and what's coming next. And then if we can work on this game that my son says is genius, because that is going to take a while, then we can make all the other games in between, like Quantum Menace and the Soul Collector. And, technically we could turn the Night of the Black Sun into a video game as well. We could even turn the Amber Rose into a kids game. But what I'm saying is, like, while we're making our first like proper major game, we could just be quietly working on this idea in the background. And if I have to outsource to find freelance artists and programmers and that to lighten the load of my staff, then I will do it. Because if it's going to take a couple of years to get the server up and running and start putting all the good stuff on it, like, you know, our TV shows and um, Behind Closed Doors, which is our comedy version of Friends, and When the Bell Breaks, which is our soap opera, The Time Jumping Detective, DC, Draco, TC, and The Wolfman, which is like Miami Vice. It gives us time to make a few series of those to get them up, so that, you know, when we're ready to start selling subscriptions and that, it's just going to be like a fruit bowl of goodies for people to just dive through. We basically, yeah, I don't want to say too much else, but as a visionary, the vision is coming into view. It's like, it's just like, I can't explain it. I know I've hit the nail on the head with New York, because it's like, the second I said, oh my God, I think I'm going back to New York, I think I'm going back to the original plan. It's just that all the obstacles that were put in my path to stop me from going there in 2020 before my ex got out of prison, they're all been removed out the way, and it's like I'm getting to go back to the beginning. But without the obstacles, but with all the lessons that I had to learn because of those obstacles. Wiping the slate clean, taking everything that I learned and everything I created as a result of all the obstacles, but without the obstacles, and getting to start from the beginning without everyone and everything that caused all the trouble in the first place. But walking away with the gem of it, walking away with the golden nugget of knowledge, with the crystal ball of knowledge and expansion and vision and creativity, and walking away with the treasure chest. I walk away with the prize, and I can't unsee it now. It's like I'm singularly focused now on getting to New York. There's no more confusion. Oh, I'm 100% sure it's Russia. Oh, I'm 100% sure it's Canada. No, it's not Canada. It's not Switzerland. It's not Russia. It's not Hungary. It's not Scotland. It's nowhere. And the reason why I know that is because the second I put my line of sight on New York, doors started opening. I started getting support from people coming to my door and saying, you're doing a fantastic job, and I'm going to keep an eye out for you, and, you know, you've got this, Mum, basically. My son said to me a few weeks ago, I have to admit, what you're doing for the kids is pretty cool. What you're planning is pretty good, pretty cool. You're onto something, paraphrasing, but yeah. So it's like the second I revisited New York, the second I went back to the beginning, everything started flowing. And at the same time, I lost all my social media, and I have no interest in going back to my social media. Remember, I said to you the other day, it's almost like I had to lose my social media and LinkedIn and that, because it was like I was putting my focus on faulty things. It was like faulty focus. It was taking my time and energy away from things that were distracting me from what needed to be paid attention to, which is all the stuff I'm doing while I'm not on social media, because when I'm not making these little update videos or posting on YouTube, reposting YouTube videos and stuff like that, I'm doing a lot behind the scenes, and I'm getting support for it. People are coming out and support, and not even on social media, not even necessarily, not on. I mean, I don't have my social media anymore, but privately, I'm getting support, and that's how I know I'm on the right track. That's how I know I made the right decision, by saying goodbye to the last people that I had to say goodbye to in my life, by letting go of the people that I knew I had to let go of, by letting go of the social media and all of that, and just focusing on my writing and studying 70s soft rock and all that to write Dork the Musical and all of that. All the right people have started circling my orb. And I never had that before. I spent years trying to put all of that out there on social media. I mean, okay, I'm shadow banned because I'm the enemy of the state, but I never got anywhere. But the second I took my focus away from jumping through the social media hoops, and just knuckled down and did it all myself with literal pen and paper, and using my own voice and my own imagination and stuff, the people have started being drawn to me. And I'm finding out more and more and more, like I said, about the tax breaks. And that's how I know that I'm heading to New York, and the Red Sea is parting. And people either want to come on board or they don't. I'm not going to force them. I put the offer out there, but it's up to them whether they want to come on board or not. But I only ask once, and if you ignore it, or you're not interested or whatever, I mean, your will is free; it is your own. But I only ask once, and then I know it wasn't meant to be, and I move on to the next person. But I'll find my flock, because they're already starting to fly around me. They're already starting to circle my orbit. And that's how I know I'm on the right track, because I never had that the other times I tried, when I thought I was going to Canada or Switzerland or Russia or Hungary or Italy or Scotland or wherever. Hang on, sip. So, after the hotel, I need to build my haunted house, School of Alchemy, occult museum. I need to sign up with the VAs, the Veterans of America, and all of that. So, I know step by step by step now what to do. And if I can get this game in the works that I've been sitting on for a couple of years now, not only will my gaming chair revolutionise gaming and home entertainment, but this game will completely change the way people play multiplayer video games. And I'm not going to say any more. So I'm the visionary, and now I need to if I'm the GPS and the steering wheel, I need the brake and accelerator and engine to to drive us home, so to speak. But yeah, so I'm just putting it out there, letting you know I'm still alive, and just get ready for me, America, because when I hit, I'm coming in like a comet. You're not going to know what's hit you. I'm going to be creating so many jobs. I'm going to be giving people hope and inspiration. I'm going to be giving children a future. I'm going to be giving children lives they never thought would be possible. So I'm setting the stage for them. I'm literally building a stage for them to be able to perform for the world in whatever their talent is. But yeah, so also in regards to my gluten situation, I bought some sour bread yesterday, and I had a couple of slices. I broke keto. I know I shouldn't have. I usually don't eat after I have dinner, but I was anxious and nervous about, like, just do it, just bloody try the bread and get it over and done with. And I woke up this morning and I've got zero symptoms of gluten allergy. And this sour bread has got like barley, rye, wheat, gluten flour, and I've got zero symptoms of a gluten allergy. So it means that my gluten allergy was because of being a victim of domestic violence, because of narcissistic abuse, as was my fibromyalgia. Um, and the result of getting the gut bacteria from my surgeries, which I only needed because of my ex. The first one was because of I had a big baby and I've got a small pelvic area. But the second two was because he left me to when he was told not to. And I got two more hernias. The second time I actually lost consciousness. Excuse me. So, yeah. So for 10 years, I've been living on a gluten-free diet, thinking I had a gluten allergy, and it turns out it's because I was the victim of narcissistic abuse, and it affected my digestive system. And because of the bacteria in my gut from my surgeries, because if you've had gut surgery, like surgery around your gut area, um, yeah, you can get a bacteria that gives you almost identical symptoms to a gluten allergy. Foggy brain, all sorts. Memory loss, which are also symptoms of narcissistic abuse. So PTSD and gut surgery can give you false positives for a gluten allergy. And mine, PTSD, which is what I was diagnosed with, severe PTSD, and my surgeries all because of my ex. So even without him poisoning my food, being around him was killing me because he was that toxic. Aside from the other things like the sexual abuse and him poisoning my food and stealing all my ideas and sending photos of me to people to use for AI fake crap and messing with my phone, aside from all of that, just being around him because he was so toxic was killing me and aged me. Because narcissistic abuse, it makes you sick and it makes you age, it makes you older, it makes you ugly. So even though being away from my boys absolutely destroyed my soul, and my boys and I have been through hell because of that man since he did what he did that night, I was saved. My life was saved. The hospital then tried to kill me. My gut split open, which also wouldn't have helped the bacteria in my gut, because remember then all my surgical scars split open and got infected, and I was refused medical treatment, and I almost had a heart attack when I was locked up, which is one of the reasons why I want to take care of the veterans as well, because nobody would have been there to claim my body, and I would have been given a pauper's grave with nobody to mourn my death because everyone abandoned me. And they were determined to finish me off. My work is offensive to people in the mental health industry because I cure people of mental illness. I come along and I explain things and I give them therapy and help in a way that they go off their medications. There was a woman in Wisconsin who'd been on antidepressants for 20 years who went off them and never went back on them because of the work that I did with her. So those kind of doctors don't like me very much. I got accused of having a God complex because I got an anorexic eating again. And not only was she eating again, but she got to see her kids again. She'd lost custody of her kids. She found God, and they were lowering her dosage of medication. She went on the methadone program, and she started healing. She started putting on weight. And they hated me for it because what use are they if they've got someone like me? And because I'm an ascension scientist and I understand how this works, I put them out of jobs. I put them out of business. And then, of course, because I'm suing them, because they're going to pay for what they did, it's going to look bad on them that they tortured an innocent woman simply because they couldn't understand the way an uneducated Indigenous woman does physics. On top of the fact that I was proving that everything they knew about the human psyche wrong. On top of the fact I was also whistleblowing on the government for being human traffickers and groomers. So I wasn't wrong about any of it. And so, I'm going to have like my wellness centre where you can come in and have your hair cut, have massages and facials and that using all my products, have hairdressers and all in proper barbers, a proper old school barbers with the leather straps and, switchblades and proper old school. But we'll have a wellness centre as well with like a little spiritual centre. I already know how I want it designed because it was up on my vision board. And anyone who wants to come in and need some advice, and I can even do it online from home, where like Better Health, that place that's like all the therapists and stuff like that. I actually have a degree. I have a certificate in counselling that I got online from Udemy. The certificate is on my old laptop. I've just never had a chance to print it off. But I'm a licensed counsellor. I did my Udemy course because obviously when I was getting ready to go to America the first time. So I'm qualified to counsel people. And I'm going to have my radio show anyway, where we talk about basically redoing my, the radio show that I had in Chicago, the Paranormal Hour in Chicago at WRMN 1410. I'm going to be doing that, talk back, so you'll be able to call in and say, this happened and what is it and blah, 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 and I can explain, fix all the paranormal supernatural stuff. But I want to have one to do with ascensions as well, where people can call in with their problems and their issues, and that be like an agony aunt. But especially, targeting people with gifts and talents and, writers, musicians, that sort of thing. Not exclusively in that, but I can also offer private sessions, just like Better Health. And then having like the little spiritual centre and the wellness centre, because I'm going to have like a support team there for the kids and that anyway, then we're there and I can pop in every now and then for certain clients and stuff like that. But it's all little ways that I can make money to, put back into the business, but where I'm useful, but where it's not putting pressure on me and my stomach. Because I need to be able to work around my pain. And obviously, being in New York, I think medical marijuana is legal, so I'll be able to at least get prescriptions and not have to worry about. I mean, I'd like to try and grow my own and have like my own pharmacy, have my own dispensary, but only for the pain, only when I needed it for the pain. Because like the oregano oil and all that works brilliantly. It certainly helped with my digestive system. My probiotic diet and all of that has completely helped with the pain from the constant vomiting and that. But it, it still flares up every now and then when my scars are playing up. And at the moment, my scars are playing up. Nothing is helping the scar pain. I can't find anything to help the scar pain. And when I get the scar pain, it's excruciating. Like I can't even get up and feed myself. It's just so painful to stand. But at least this way, I can keep myself busy and be productive as well as a visionary and offer my, what I can do based around my pain level. And yeah, so I will print my Udemy certificate off because I've got like a form that they gave me that I'm legally required to get all my clients to fill out to do with like, non-disclosure. Um, uh, um, oh God, what do you call it? Confidentiality agreement. So, yeah, so I can do my bit. I'll have my radio shows, doing my paranormal thing. And then, of course, like when I go out with my students from the school, we'll be able to go to active paranormal locations. We'll be able to take my tāne clay and my rehua spray. I'll be able to teach them on location what they're dealing with, who they're dealing with, and how to deal with it. And then we can relieve all that pressure off the house, off the building, off Papatuanuku, and then we get a calmer America. We get a calmer location. We'll get people going into the property and not having like psychotic episodes and mental breakdowns. And because then once people know the truth of what they're dealing with, they won't be all like they won't be able to fake seeing dead people. Because everyone will be like, what are you talking about? It's not even what that is. It's a time slip. It's a this. It's a that. It's supernatural. It's got nothing to do with the paranormal, So it means that a lot of frauds in the industry will get washed away as well. Doing it the right way. And it's necessary because it's feeding into the psychosis of mental health issues. It's feeding into the Schumann resonance. And the Schumann resonance is 100% can be controlled by man. People with the right kind of equipment can turn that up or down depending on how they want you to react. And at the highest of the lowest level, you enter into things like psychosis and misdiagnosed schizophrenia, thinking you're hearing and seeing things and all of that, disembodied voices and all of that sort of thing, through to death, because the Schumann resonance at its lowest level can kill you. You can have brain embolisms and heart attacks, taking your own life. The medium of that is addictions and fetishes, self-harming, possessions, and of course the supernatural version of schizophrenia. People who think they see people standing there, they're starting to tune into the creation frequency. They're starting to tune into the God particle. And that's always with the high-functioning creative empath. It's usually like artists and programmers, not exclusively artists and programmers and, people who work with maths and colours and stuff. more than like writers and musicians, but not exclusively. But you'll find that a lot of people who are diagnosed with that kind of quote unquote schizophrenia either work with computers, algorithms, maths, or they're artists, but not exclusively, but the high proportion. And what it is they get diagnosed with schizophrenia, but in actual fact, it's because they're tuned into the part of their brain that allows them to slip in and out of time, and they don't realise they're doing it. And they will 100% be talking to and seeing exactly who they are talking to and seeing, but they don't realise that it's a time slip. And it's all misdiagnosed. And the only dangerous kind of schizophrenia is the ones where it leads to drugs and alcohol and self-harming and, negative behaviour. But for the most part, from what I've been able to see, a lot of people that are diagnosed with quote-unquote schizophrenia, they're experiencing time slips because they're high-functioning creative empaths whose brains run on a higher frequency than that of the normal person. So we need to change the way people see the paranormal and the supernatural, because it's detrimental to the human psyche, and which then has a knock-on effect to the evolutionary development of mankind. It needs to be changed, and my radio shows, my movies, my video games, my books, my TV shows, I'll take I'll take my students with me to investigations, and I'll be able to show them hands-on, which was originally what I was supposed to do with my students back in the day. If you remember, I put up screenshots in that of me doing live classes with some of my students, Ria and Nikki, and at one point Rocio as well. She complained about her reading. So, back to square one, that's what I'm saying. It's like I was surrounded by coyotes. I was surrounded by a pack of coyotes. Tricksters. And I had to navigate my way through them in order to gain the knowledge and the wisdom and the treasures, as in everything I wrote and directed and invented and created and designed. I had to go through all of that to get to put the treasures in my treasure box, so that when everything got washed out and rewound, I started with everything I finished with, but without the obstacles then, because then they're all removed. Then I get to start again, because now I know that if I am going to be teaching people, I know exactly what to do, which is the opposite of everything I did before. You will not be able to just like before, I want you to teach me, sign up, yep, done. You're going to have to jump through hoops, and then this time, even though their contract was legal, because I got legal advice about their contracts, it will be a legal, I will get a lawyer, and they will be held accountable in a court of law if they do anything that my last students did. Lesson learned. Got my fingers burnt, but now I am the fire. FAEA. Right, so I'm going to go and have my second coffee and have some bloody sourdough toast, because it turns out I don't have a gluten allergy. So after this, I'm going to give it a couple of days, and then I'm going to go across the road and try some fish and chips. And if it turns out I don't react to that, although this sourdough has got everything in it that I should be allergic to thrice, and nothing. So for 10 years, I was starved by the hospital and my ex-husband because I was a victim of domestic abuse, thinking it was a gluten allergy. Fancy that, eh? But now I know. And I'm going to take that knowledge with me going forward. And now I'll use everything I learned to help everybody else. Gonna wake everyone up. Wake up, America. Here I come. I'm doing it all on my own. No help from no one. And that's what made me so proud when my delivery driver on Sunday said, did you come up with all of this on your own or did you have help? And I said, no, I've done it all on my own. Other than like my boys helping me with some things, but I consider them to be a part of me anyway. I've done it all on my own. I just had a lot of people inspiring me, but I've done it all on my own. And I'm proud of that. And I don't need help. I just, once I get my money, I'll find who I need to help me find the people that I need, and then that's a snowball from there. So I've been told in 1,000 different ways in the last week, you are absolutely on the right track. You are headed exactly where you're to be heading. You're going to get everything you've been planned, and here's how you're going to do it. So just waiting for that last little obstacle. Got to wait for that door to justice to close and the door to victory to open, and then I'm it. So I'll speak to you later. Have a beautiful day. Ka kite anō. Mwah.